Welcome to Weird History Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In the annals of American presidential history, there lie tales that are as fascinating as they are bizarre. One such tale involves President William Howard Taft, the 27th President of the United States, and an incident that has become almost mythical in its telling. The president, so the story goes, once got stuck in a bathtub. This image, amusing as it is, has become a staple of American folklore, a larger-than-life depiction of a man who was, in many ways, larger than life himself. William Howard Taft, weighing in at over 330 pounds, was the heaviest president in American history. His physical corpulence was a subject of much discussion during his presidency and has remained a point of intrigue long after his death. But the bathtub incident, often reduced to a humorous anecdote, reveals more than just the physical dimensions of the man. It casts a light on the societal norms of the time, the pressures faced by those in positions of power, and the human side of a man entrusted with the nation's highest office. The incident occurred at the White House in the early days of Taft's presidency. The president, after a long day of fulfilling his duties, decided to take a bath. The bathtub, a standard-sized model of the time, was ill-equipped to accommodate a man of Taft's size. As he eased himself into the water, he found that he was, quite literally, stuck. The image is almost cinematic in its detail. Picture the scene. The president, wedged into the porcelain tub, water sloshing over its sides. His aides, alerted by his calls for help, rush in, only to find their leader in such an unexpected and precarious position. The room, one can imagine, was filled with a tense silence, a shared disbelief hanging heavy in the air. The rescue operation that ensued was as delicate as it was unprecedented. The task fell to the president's most trusted aides, who with great care and discretion managed to extricate their leader from his porcelain prison. The incident, kept under wraps at the time, only came to light years later. The bathtub story has been told and retold, embellished and exaggerated over the years. Yet at its core, it speaks to the human condition, the vulnerabilities that even the most powerful among us cannot escape. It underscores the physical challenges faced by Taft, a man who, despite his size, was known for his agility and quick wit. It also highlights the often overlooked aspects of presidential life, the personal, the private, the profoundly human. And so, the bathtub incident, far from being a mere footnote in American history, serves as a lens through which we can explore the complexities of power, the nuances of public life, and the humanizing moments that often remain hidden behind the curtain of presidency. Let's delve deeper into the peculiar incident, drawing upon the accounts that have surfaced over the years. The bathtub, a fixture that most would consider mundane, was transformed into a stage where a unique historical drama unfolded. The porcelain receptacle, standard-sized for the era, was simply not built to accommodate a man of Taft's dimensions. As the president eased himself into the water, the bathtub proved to be more of a trap than a source of relaxation. The moment was fraught with tension and trepidation. The president, once considered the epitome of power and control, was reduced to a state of vulnerability, wedged tightly within the confines of the bathtub, the water sloshing precariously over its sides. Picture Taft, immobilized in the tub, his calls for assistance reverberating through the corridors of the White House. The scene that greeted his aides upon their arrival must have been both shocking and surreal. The leader of the free world, in such an undignified and precarious position. The subsequent rescue operation was a delicate endeavor. The president's aides, entrusted with the sensitive task of extricating their leader, had to devise a strategy that was as tactful as it was efficient. The details of this operation are sketchy, with some accounts suggesting that it took a team of men, and possibly the addition of liquid soap, to finally free the president from his porcelain predicament. The incident was shrouded in secrecy, a testament to the discretion and loyalty of Taft's staff. It was crucial to keep the event under wraps, not just to protect the dignity of the president, but also to avoid any potential political fallout. It was only years later that the story surfaced, quickly gaining the status of a legend and becoming part of the colorful tapestry of American presidential history. The bathtub incident is more than just a humorous anecdote. It serves as a stark reminder of the human vulnerabilities even the most powerful individuals cannot escape. The image of Taft, trapped and helpless, contrasts sharply with the public image of a president, composed, confident, and in control. The incident underscores the fact that despite their status and power, presidents are, after all, human, susceptible to the same physical limitations and embarrassing mishaps as the rest of us. Moreover, it provides a glimpse into an aspect of presidential life that is seldom seen: the private, the personal, the mundane. Behind the grandeur of speeches and the pomp of state dinners, there lies a world of everyday experiences, some of which can turn into extraordinary incidents, such as the one that befell Taft. In essence, the bathtub incident serves as a symbol of the complex interplay between power and vulnerability, public image and private life, and the constant negotiation between the human and the presidential. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, we encounter tales that seem to defy belief, and one such tale is that of the Hellfire Club, an 18th-century secret society steeped in mystery, debauchery, and a proclivity for the occult. The Hellfire Club was an exclusive organization, its membership a veritable who's who of English nobility and political powerhouses. The club was the brainchild of Sir Francis Dashwood, a man known for his flamboyant personality and penchant for the esoteric. The club's gatherings, known as meetings, were held in the most unusual of places, the West Wickham Caves, a labyrinth of tunnels and caverns deep beneath the earth. The members of the Hellfire Club would descend into these subterranean chambers, dressed in elaborate costumes representing characters from classical mythology. Dashwood himself would often don the guise of the Greek god Bacchus, the deity of wine and revelry. The meetings would begin with a ceremonial toast, followed by indulgence in lavish feasts. But these were not your average dinner parties. They were rituals, calculated and choreographed, designed to pay homage to the pagan gods of old. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of the Hellfire Club was its unabashed hedonism and blasphemous rituals. Accounts suggest that the members would engage in orgiastic behavior, their actions veering towards the profane and the sacrilegious. Some reports even allege that the club practiced black magic and satanic rituals, involving incantations, invocations of demonic entities, and ritualistic sex. One particular tale that stands out involves a club member, the infamous John Wilkes, who reportedly brought a baboon dressed as the devil to a meeting. The ensuing chaos, as the terrified members fled from what they believed to be the devil himself, is said to have amused Wilkes to no end. Yet despite these scandalous activities, the Hellfire Club operated under the radar for many years, protected by the power and influence of its members. It was only when the activities of the club were exposed by disgruntled former members that it was disbanded, its legacy mired in scandal, controversy, and intrigue. The Hellfire Club serves as a stark example of the lengths to which people in positions of power can go to indulge their wildest fantasies. It's a testament to how power can breed excess, and how secrecy and privilege can shield these excesses from the public eye. It also offers a fascinating glimpse into the darker side of human nature and the allure of the forbidden and the profane. Despite the passage of centuries, the Hellfire Club continues to captivate the imagination, its secrets and rituals remaining a source of fascination and speculation to this day. Delving deeper into the secret rituals of the Hellfire Club, we encounter an even more disturbing tableau of debauchery and excess. The club's ceremonies were not merely drunken revelries, they were a carefully orchestrated tableau of hedonism and defiance against the orthodoxies of the time. Perhaps the most infamous of these rituals was known as the Mock Pope. As the name suggests, this involved a club member dressed in the sacred vestments of the Pope, performing a perverse parody of a Catholic Mass. This act of blatant sacrilege was designed to shock and offend, an open challenge to the Church's authority and moral doctrine. The Hellfire Club's rites often included the use of a nun, usually a local sex worker who was hired for the evening, to perform the role of the priestess. These women, bedecked in the vestments of holy sisters, would lead the club members in their decadent rituals. The audacious blend of sacred and profane was a deliberate affront to the moral norms of the period, and a clear indication of the club's unashamed hedonism. Then there were the reports of occult rituals. One of the more macabre tales involves a club member named Paul Whitehead, who served as the club's steward. Upon his death, Whitehead requested that his heart be placed in an urn and kept at the club's headquarters. It is said that the club members would conduct ceremonies in front of this urn, invoking Whitehead's spirit in a chilling display of necromancy. The use of caves and underground chambers for their meetings further intensified the eerie aura surrounding the Hellfire Club. The West Wickham Caves, where many of these rituals were said to take place, were decorated with phallic symbols and other pagan iconography. The cave's labyrinthine passages and claustrophobic chambers, illuminated only by flickering candlelight, provided the perfect setting for these clandestine gatherings. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of the Hellfire Club's rituals was the alleged invocation of the devil himself. Accounts suggest that the members would sit in a circle, chanting incantations in an attempt to summon demonic entities. According to one story, a stranger suddenly appeared in the midst of one such ritual, causing panic among the members. When the stranger vanished as mysteriously as he had appeared, some club members were convinced that they had successfully summoned the devil. The Hellfire Club's rituals were not just about indulgence and debauchery. They were acts of provocation, a defiant challenge to societal norms and religious doctrines. They represented an assertion of power and privilege, a demonstration of the members' belief that they were above the laws and moral codes that governed ordinary men. This audacious display of defiant hedonism and sacrilege continues to be a source of fascination, a dark chapter in the annals of history that continues to captivate and horrify in equal measure. In this clandestine world of ritual and rebellion, a peculiar link arises, connecting the dark corridors of the Hellfire Club to the emergence of a key invention of modern forensic science: the lie detector. It's an unlikely connection, one that involves the spiritualist craze that swept through Victorian society, and the man who would become the father of modern polygraph testing, William Moulton Marston. Marston was a psychologist, a lawyer, and a curious inventor. But perhaps most intriguingly, he was deeply influenced by the Victorian era's fascination with spiritualism and seances, a world where the living sought to communicate with the dead. The Victorian seance was a theatrical performance, a spectacle of supposed contact with the otherworldly, often involving a medium who would enter a trance-like state, purportedly channeling messages from those who had passed on. These performances captivated audiences, stirring up a blend of fear, fascination, and skepticism. The part that intrigued Marston the most was the role of the medium. These individuals claimed to be able to tap into unseen energies, to detect the presence of spirits. But could they be lying? Was there a way to discern the truth behind their claims? These questions spurred Marston's interest in deception detection, which eventually led him to the invention of the lie detector. Marston's lie detector, or polygraph, was not the first of its kind, but it was unique in its methodology. Inspired by the emotional intensity of seances, Marston focused on physiological responses to emotional stimuli. His machine measured blood pressure, respiration, and pulse rate, changes in which he believed indicated deception. This was groundbreaking. Marston was among the first to link physiological changes to psychological states, a concept that remains fundamental to polygraph testing today. The lie detector was, in many ways, a product of its time, a scientific response to the spiritualist craze and the widespread interest in understanding the unseen. It's a testament to the intricate ways in which societal trends and scientific advancements intersect, birthing innovation in unexpected ways. This peculiar connection between the hedonistic rituals of the Hellfire Club, the spiritualist craze of Victorian society, and the development of the lie detector is more than just a fascinating historical oddity. It illustrates that the progression of science and society is often not linear, but a complex web of influences and inspirations, woven together by the threads of human curiosity and the relentless pursuit of truth. This tale serves as a reminder that even the most unlikely of connections can yield the most surprising of outcomes, a testament to the unpredictability and richness of our shared history. One of the most intriguing aspects of this story is the audacious leap from spiritualism to hard science. It's a stark contrast, and yet these two seemingly divergent paths converged in the invention of the lie detector. The Victorian seance represented a realm of the unknown, a place where emotions ran high and the boundary between truth and deception was often blurred. It was in this charged atmosphere that Marston found fertile ground for his explorations into the science of deceit. As a psychologist, Marston was fascinated by the nature of truth and deception. He was driven by a desire to quantify, to measure, to bring empirical evidence to bear on the murky world of human deceit. The seance, with its mix of genuine belief, fear, and potential deception, offered a perfect testing ground for his theories. It is fascinating to consider how the Victorian seance, an event steeped in emotional intensity and spiritual belief, could lead to the invention of an instrument as coldly analytical as the lie detector. The seance was, in essence, a theater of emotion. It was a place where feelings were amplified, where fear, hope, and longing were all brought to the surface. Marston recognized that this emotional intensity could be harnessed, that it could serve as a physiological marker for deception. He began to study the physiological responses triggered by emotional stimuli in seance attendees. He noticed that certain emotions, particularly those linked with fear or guilt, produced measurable responses in the body. Blood pressure would rise, breathing rates would change, the pulse would quicken. All of these responses, he realized, could be logged, analyzed, and interpreted. They could serve as a tangible, measurable sign of deception. This was a revelatory idea. It was a way of bringing the scientific method to bear on the intangible realm of human emotion and deception. The lie detector, in essence, was a tool for translating the language of the body, for deciphering the physical cues that betray our inner states of mind. In hindsight, the link between the Victorian seance and the lie detector might seem unlikely, even absurd. But at its core, this connection speaks to the human desire for truth and understanding. It's a testament to our relentless curiosity, our drive to peel back the layers of mystique and ambiguity that shroud our world, to find clarity amidst the confusion, evidence amidst the enigma, and truth amidst the deceit. And it's a reminder that sometimes the most surprising discoveries and inventions can arise from the most unexpected of places. The twists and turns of history often lead us on paths unanticipated, illuminating corners of human behavior that might seem alien to modern sensibilities. Such is the case with the ancient Romans' use of urine as mouthwash, a practice that sounds shocking today, yet was commonplace in their time. The Romans, celebrated for their extraordinary architectural achievements and intricate societal systems, were also renowned for their attention to personal hygiene. Baths were an integral part of Roman culture, and dental care was no exception. However, the methods employed to maintain oral health were far from what we consider standard today. Instead of mint-scented toothpaste, Romans turned to a more readily available and indeed a rather startling resource: human urine. Urine's key role in Roman dental hygiene lies in its chemical composition. Urine, particularly when left to stand, breaks down into ammonia, a potent cleaning agent. The Romans, recognizing this, used urine as a form of mouthwash to whiten their teeth. The practice was so widespread that urine from both humans and animals was often bought and sold specifically for this purpose. In fact, the Roman author Catullus mentions in his works a certain Egnatius, a man notable for his extraordinarily white teeth. However, he also notes with a degree of sarcasm that these gleaming teeth were a result of Ignatius's habit of rinsing his mouth with urine imported from Spain, reputed to be the strongest and most effective in whitening teeth. The Romans' use of urine for oral hygiene extended beyond mouthwash. Crushed brick, pumice, and urine were often mixed to form a tooth-cleaning paste. This paste was then applied using a rudimentary toothbrush fashioned from sticks with frayed ends. While it might be easy to recoil in disgust from such practices, it's important to remember the context. The Romans were among the first civilizations to prioritize personal cleanliness and hygiene on a societal level. The use of urine in dental care, while shocking to us, was just one part of their broader commitment to cleanliness. So, while there's no doubt that the Romans' use of urine as mouthwash is a strange and fascinating aspect of their culture, it's also a testament to their ingenuity and adaptability. It's a reminder that, throughout history, humans have made use of whatever resources are available to them in their relentless pursuit of health, cleanliness, and beauty. Urine mouthwash was not merely a household solution for the Romans, it was an entire industry. In the busy streets of Rome, fulleries, establishments where clothes were cleaned, thrived on the collection and use of urine. Patrons visiting these fulleries would urinate into jars, providing a constant supply for the fuller's needs. The ammonia in urine acted as a natural bleaching agent, removing stains and dirt from the fabric. This same principle applied to its use in dental care, where the ammonia helped in achieving pearly white teeth. The urine trade was so lucrative that the Emperor Vespasian imposed a tax on it. The vectigal urinae, or urine tax, was levied on those who bought and sold urine. Vespasian saw an opportunity to generate revenue from this thriving, albeit unusual, industry. His son Titus recoiled at the idea of profiting from something so unseemly. To this, Vespasian famously held up a gold coin and asked whether its smell offended him. When Titus said no, Vespasian replied, "Yet it comes from urine." A lesson in pragmatism from one of Rome's most renowned emperors. On a more personal level, the use of urine in oral hygiene bore a social implication. Bright white teeth were seen as a sign of wealth and status. The fact that the most effective urine supposedly came from Spain added a layer of exotic appeal. Just as today's luxury goods often boast foreign origins, so too did the Romans value imported urine for its perceived quality. Ignatius's gleaming teeth, then, were not just a testimony to his personal hygiene, but also a visible sign of his affluence. This practice might seem outlandish to the modern sensibility, but it's essential to look beyond the initial shock and see it as a testament to Roman innovation. In an era without the benefits of modern chemistry and mass production, the Romans turned to nature's resources, using the tools at their disposal to meet their needs. It is a testament to their creativity, their resourcefulness, and their unwavering pursuit of aesthetic perfection. In many ways, the Romans' use of urine as mouthwash encapsulates their practical approach to beauty and hygiene, a philosophy that extended far beyond mere vanity. It speaks to their understanding of the world around them, their ability to adapt, and their relentless pursuit of improvement, a hallmark of the civilization that continues to fascinate us. The Romans, in their ingenuity, turned an everyday waste product into a commodity, a tool for beauty, and an emblem of social status. It is a reminder that history is not always as we imagine it, and that perceptions of cleanliness and beauty are, indeed, time and culture-specific. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, our journey takes us to an unusual chapter from the 19th century. A curious cult that believed in a cosmological theory known as the Hollow Earth. This group, known as the Corinthian Unity, subscribed to the idea that the Earth was not a solid sphere, but a hollow shell, and that we lived on the inside surface of that shell. The founder of this cult was Cyrus Teed, a charismatic figure who rechristened himself as Koresh, the Hebrew version of his name. In 1869, Teed claimed to have experienced a divine revelation wherein he was told that the universe was a large, hollow sphere. This led to the formation of the Corinthian Unity in the 1870s, a group that believed in a utopian society based on Teed's principles of cellular cosmogony, or what we now know as the Hollow Earth theory. This theory proposed that the Earth was an inverted sphere, with the sun, moon, planets, and stars all contained within. Teed's followers believed that we were living on the inside of this sphere, and that the universe was finite, its outer shell being the Earth itself. To them, the horizon curved upward, not downward. Day and night were explained by a rotating sun that was half brilliant, half dark, suspended at the center of the universe, or the Earth's shell. Teed's hollow earth theory was more than just an abstract concept. He conducted experiments to prove his beliefs. His most notable was the rectilineator experiment in 1897, where he claimed to have measured the curvature of the Earth's surface along a section of the Naples beach in Florida, asserting that it curved upwards, consistent with his inverted Earth theory. The Coretian unity, at its peak, had several hundred followers living in a commune in Estero, Florida. The community was self-sustaining, with its own bakery, general store, post office, and even a power plant. It was a utopia of sorts, where the belief in an inverted Earth was just one part of a larger, comprehensive philosophy that included elements of communal living, millennialism, and gender equality. This unusual episode in history reminds us that belief systems and our understanding of the universe can take on myriad forms. The Coretians, with their commitment to a cosmology that defied conventional wisdom, embody the boundless capacity of human belief and imagination. The existence of such a community also underscores the diversity of thought that can exist within a single era, challenging our assumptions about the linearity of scientific and societal progress. For the Coretians, the inverted Earth theory was not limited to ideology. They strove to integrate it into their everyday life. The architecture of their buildings, as well as the layout of their settlement, was designed to align with their cosmological beliefs. The community's structures, including homes, businesses, and community spaces, were constructed with an emphasis on circular and spherical forms, mirroring the sacred geometry they believed to be at the heart of the universe. The organization of their society was also heavily influenced by their spiritual understanding of the universe. The Coretians practiced celibacy, a custom that was intended to symbolize the unity and harmony they believed existed within the Earth's hollow shell. They also believed in reincarnation, another concept that was tied intimately to their understanding of the universe as a cyclical, enclosed system. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the Coretians' beliefs was their commitment to proving their theories through scientific methods. Despite living in an era where their views were considered heretical, they remained steadfast in their conviction that empirical evidence would ultimately validate their beliefs. In pursuit of this, they organized scientific expeditions, conducted experiments, and even published a journal, The Flaming Sword, to disseminate their findings and theories. They believed that by demonstrating the truth of their cosmology, they could bring about a new age of enlightenment and social reform. Despite their dedication and their fervor, the Coretians' efforts to prove their theories were met with skepticism and ridicule from the mainstream scientific community. Their most ambitious experiment, the rectilineator experiment, was dismissed as a farce. Critics pointed out numerous methodological flaws and accused the Coretians of wishful thinking. Even as the scientific consensus rejected their theories, the Coretians remained undeterred. They continued to live according to their beliefs, sustaining their community for several decades. However, by the mid-20th century, their numbers had dwindled and the community eventually dissolved. The story of the Coretians is a testament to the power of belief in human imagination. Their unusual cosmology, and the society they built around it, challenges our conventional understanding of science and spirituality. It is a reminder that our perception of reality is often shaped by our deeply held beliefs, and that these beliefs can persist in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary. It's a fascinating glimpse into a community that dared to envision a universe entirely different from the one we know. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Weird History Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to Weird History Podcast on Spotify. Subscribe now.